The Patriot into Traitor by Robert Browning. Hello and welcome to Girl Has It All. Today, we will spend some time with Robert Browning's poem, The Patriot into Traitor. This poem is not simply about history. It is about human nature, how quickly admiration can turn into hatred, how society forgets, and how faith can be a person's only refuge when everything else has collapsed. A year ago, the hero's welcome. The Patriot begins by remembering the day he entered the town in triumph. The streets were full. The rooftops were crowded. Bells rang. People threw roses and myrtle in his path. The walls themselves trembled with the noise of cheering. He says, with a touch of irony, that if he had asked for the very sun, the people would have pulled it down for him. That is how much they adored him. It is a picture of glory, of blind love, of a leader at the height of power. Today, the fall into betrayal. But now, 1 year later, he walks the same road again. This time, it is not for celebration. It is for his execution. The streets are empty. The rooftops are bare. No roses, no bells, no cheers. Instead, stones are thrown at him. His forehead bleeds. His hands are tied behind his back. The Patriot is no longer a hero. He is called a traitor. The same people who worshipped him now condemn him. This is Browning's harsh truth. The love of the crowd is unstable. It turns quickly, and it forgets easily. The nature of public opinion. Think about it. How often do we see the same thing today? A leader, a celebrity, or even an ordinary person is lifted up, praised, and admired. Then, with one mistake or one rumor, they are dragged down, mocked, and abandoned. Public opinion is not steady. It is emotional, restless, and easily swayed. And Browning shows us the pain of being caught in that storm. Faith at the gallows. Yet the poem does not end with anger. The Patriot does not shout at the crowd. He does not curse them. Instead, he speaks quietly. He says that men have given him no reward for his service, but God will repay him. In God's hands, he is safe. This ending is simple, but powerful. It shows us that dignity can survive even betrayal. That peace does not come from human praise, but from faith. Themes we can take from the poem. The poem leaves us with several strong messages. 1. The instability of the crowd. The people who celebrate you today may condemn you tomorrow. 2. The loneliness of true service. Leadership often ends with isolation. 3. The cruelty of betrayal. Nothing cuts deeper than being punished by those you tried to serve. 4. The dignity of faith. Even when the world rejects you, there is peace in trusting a higher justice. 5. A warning about society. Browning reminds us how dangerous it is when people are guided only by emotion, not principle. Why the poem still matters. Although Browning wrote in the 19th century, this poem feels alive today. We live in a world of fast attention and even faster rejection. Social media raises people into heroes overnight, only to tear them down the next day. Political leaders are praised as saviors and then treated as enemies. The poem speaks to this reality. It warns us not to be careless with our judgments. It also comforts those who feel rejected, reminding them that honor is not measured by temporary applause. Browning's style, the dramatic monologue. The form Browning uses is called the dramatic monologue. Here, the Patriot speaks directly to us. We hear his voice, his memories, his pain. There is no explanation, no defense, only his own words. This makes the poem feel intimate and real. It is not history told by others. It is the condemned man himself reflecting on his fall. That is why the emotions cut so deep. The irony in the title. The very title, The Patriot into Traitor, holds irony. How does a patriot become a traitor? How does love turn into hatred? Browning shows us that the distance between the two is frighteningly small. All it takes is time, shifting interest, or the forgetfulness of the crowd. It forces us to ask, do we remember those who serve us fairly, or do we abandon them the moment things do not go our way? A personal reflection. This poem speaks beyond politics. It speaks to anyone who has ever tried to do good, only to be misunderstood. Sometimes you give, you sacrifice, you act with sincerity, but people forget, or they twist your actions, or they betray you. The Patriot reminds us that even in such moments, peace is possible. Peace comes when you know that your worth is not decided by the voices of the crowd, but by the one who sees all. So, in the end, Browning gives us both a tragedy and a lesson. The tragedy is the fall of the patriot, praised one year, executed the next. The lesson is his faith, that even in the worst betrayal, there is dignity in trusting God. The poem asks us to reflect on how we treat others, how easily we forget, and where we place our trust. And that is why The Patriot into Traitor still matters. Because it is not just a poem about the past, it is a mirror for the present, and perhaps a warning for the future. Now, let me ask you, have you ever felt unappreciated or even betrayed after giving your best to others? How did you find peace in that moment? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. And if you found meaning in this talk, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Here is the poem in full. The Patriot, Robert Browning, 1855. It was roses, roses, all the way, with myrtle mixed in my path like mad. The house roofs seemed to heave and sway, the church spires flamed, such flags they had, a year ago on this very day. The air broke into a mist with bells, the old walls rocked with the crowd and cries. Had I said, "Good folk, mere noise repels, but give me your son from yonder skies," they had answered, and afterward, what else? Alack, it was I who leaped at the sun, to give it my loving friends to keep. Naught man could do, have I left undone. And you see my harvest, what I reap, this very day, now a year is run. There's nobody on the housetops now, just a palsied few at the windows set. For the best of the sight is, all allow, at the shambles gate, or, better yet, by the very scaffold's foot, I trow. I go in the rain, and, more than needs, a rope cuts both my wrists behind, and I think, by the feel, my forehead bleeds, for they fling, whoever has a mind, stones at me for my year's misdeeds. Thus I entered, and thus I go. In triumphs, people have dropped down dead. Paid by the world, what dost thou owe me? God might question, now instead, 'tis God shall repay, I am safer so. So friends, thank you for listening, and until next time, hold on to your peace and hold on to your faith.